What's up guys and girls, welcome back to another video. Today I have a good one. I am going to be testing an electrified Brompton and a normal Brompton and see how much energy I actually save, and then compare my heart rate, compare the speeds, etc., and look over the routes. So I have the ARCC converted Brompton. I've already done a couple of videos on that. Thank you very much ARC for sending that out for me to review and use and create content on. So what I'm going to do is do a 9-mile loop. So I'm going to go out and come back without the battery. I'm going to see how it is without, right? And then I'm going to pop the battery on and do the exact same route. And then when I get back, I'm going to upload the rides to Strava and I'm going to see the stats and see how much quicker or how much effort I actually had to put out, as well as giving you my own thoughts and feelings, because there's nothing better than someone actually telling you what it felt like, right? So I will do that at the end of the video, so stay tuned to then. So what I'm going to do now, get some gear on, get on the Brompton and get riding. So I will see you in a moment. So I'm 4 miles into the ride and I must admit it's harder than I thought it'd be. It's not too bad, but it's uphill. Uphill is going to be where the difference is, I think. So I'm going to crack on and get the rest of the ride done, get back home, see where we're at. So, I just got in from the first ride and that was harder than I thought it might be, to be honest. Maybe it's the smaller wheels, but yeah, putting that effort down. I mean, I've done about 8.5 miles. I've looked at the stats briefly. It's going to be interesting. I'll save those to the end of the video when we do the comparison. I'm going to cool down for a bit, get a bite to eat, and then head back out and do another 8.5 miles on the bike. How exciting! This time with the battery. So I'll see you back on the road in a bit. So I am just about to head out, got the camera on. Now it's worth mentioning that there are different modes that this ARCC electrified Brompton can use, and I am on manual mode and full power. So basically it's going to give me all the power pretty much all the time. So I'm about halfway, peeps, on this ride, and I must admit, it's a lot easier. I haven't looked at any of the stats, but I've hardly broken a sweat, to be honest, so it does make a big difference. I'm intrigued to see what these numbers are, so I'm going to crack on with the rest of the route. Got 4.5 miles or so to go. Then I'll be back home and compare all the stats, explain everything, what it's like coming from a road bike perspective, why am I wearing a heart rate monitor, all that stuff. So let's do just that. So I'm back home and I have uploaded the rides to Strava and I've got the data, and it is interesting. Before we dive into it, I just want to mention something about heart rates. Now I train to heart rate, and from my heart rate I can tell quite a lot about the ride, and around 130 to 140 beats would be a sort of standard ride for me. If I was doing between 50 and 100 miles, say, I'd be happy with 140 average. I also want to mention that the route that I picked was a very steady route. There were some longer straights where you can maintain speed. I do also have auto pause on my GPS. So if the speed goes below 5 miles per hour, it will automatically pause. That keeps it a bit more standard. That's the stats, some info for you. Let's jump in and look at the data. Okay, so I've loaded Strava up where I have both of the rides added. Now, I want to first go to this ride. This is without the electrification. So this is just the standard Brompton itself. Now here we have 34 minutes, 16 seconds move time, 15 mile an hour average speed, average power 99 watts. Let's go view analysis and see the heart rate as well, because that's important. We've got some averages on the speeds there that you can see, and timings. Heart rate max 142 and average 128. We want to go now to the other ride. So this is with the electrification by ARCC bikes on the Brompton. So now we have 31 minutes 57, so quicker. We have 114 watts average power, so you can see that's jumped up. So it thinks that I'm putting down more power, which is obviously the electrification and the motor in the front wheel. And we have an average speed of 15.9, so a higher average speed. Let's go view analysis, and we can see we have some more stats there, but average heart rate, 107 beats per minute, max 126. 107 beats per minute is so low. That is basically just pottering along, hardly putting any effort down whatsoever. I wouldn't break a sweat at 107 beats per minute. Anyway, let's look at them side by side and see just how much I saved or less effort I put in. Okay, so I've got the stats on my iPad, and let's have a look what we've got. Okay, so we've got the normal column, and we've got the electric column, and we've got the difference there. So time was 34 minutes 16 seconds on the non-electrified Brompton, and on the electrified Brompton 31 minutes and 57 seconds. So a 6.76% decrease in time for the electrified Brompton. Average speed was 15 on the normal Brompton, 15.9 on the electrified Brompton. That's an increased speed of 6%. Next up, watts. Now, watts is the measurement of power that you are putting down. So when I'm pushing down on the pedal, you measure it in watts. That's how it normally goes. You do this very accurately through a power meter if you have one. This is an estimate from Strava. So watts for normal was 99, which is very low indeed. And watts for the electric is 114. So the electric is higher because it thinks that we're putting more power down. It's actually just the motor adding more power. So that's an increase of watts of 15.15%. So quite a big difference there in the amount of effort you're putting down. 15% less effort you're putting down, power you are putting down with the electrification. So the average heart rate again was on the normal Brompton, 128 was the average, and on the electrified Brompton was 107, which is a 20% decrease with electrification. So what can I tell you from these stats? I can tell you that it is quite a big difference. I mean, the speed and the watts maybe don't look so big, but a 20% difference in heart rate is massive. That's 1/5 more effort without the electrification. So that just shows that it does make a big difference. It shows that it does help. And to be honest, the stats tell that, but I could tell you that from just riding. Honestly, with the electrified Brompton, I hardly broke a sweat. Now 8.5 miles is a fairly long way to go on a bike with small wheels. You know, it is a long way. So as well as the stats, I can tell you just that it does feel a lot different, a lot easier. So there you have it, guys and girls. That is the difference between the electrified Brompton and a normal Brompton. This kit is by ARCC Bikes. I've done a full video on this bike. If you want to see more details, I've got an in-depth full review. And I would say that commuting would be a little bit different because there'd be more stop-start, which is where the electrification helps a little bit more. So as always, fine people, thank you very much for watching. I enjoyed creating this video. So until next time, fine people, self-love, safe riding.